Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. Let's talk about the rematch between WBO welterweight champion Timothy Bradley and challenger Manny Pacquiao. Now, as longtime viewers know, we've been profiting on Pacquiao fights because they tend to go over. So the over straddle has held several times. We went further the last fight and actually hit, as part of a straddle, on Timothy Bradley winning the fight, and Bradley was a greater than 3-1 underdog. Since then, there's been an outcry. Thousands of people literally have responded to the post-fight videos I've made, right? Many people telling me the usual stuff, Dwyer, you suck, etc., overlooking the fact that Bradley won the fight, and overlooking the fact that people who bet on Bradley got greater than 3-1 when you factor in the straddle. They got better than 2-1, right? They literally tripled their money. Right? Start with 100, end with 300. Well, let's talk about the rematch. Let's go boldly wherever the film takes us. Right? Here's what we've learned from Pacquiao Bradley 1. The first point is that Bradley can go the distance with Manny Pacquiao, as did Marquez, as did Shane Mosley, as did Antonio Margarito, as did Joshua Clottey, right? Understand too that unlike Shane Mosley, Timothy Bradley was not knocked down, right? In fact, you really have to go back to Manny Pacquiao's win over Ricky Hatton in 2009 for a Pacquiao stoppage before the 12th round. So as you hear the media hype and as you hear pound for pound, just understand there is a distinct trend. It's not opinion. There's a distinct trend for Manny Pacquiao fights at welter and higher to go several rounds. In fact, the Marquez, Mosley, Margarito, Joshua Clottey, and Cotto fights all made it into the 12th round. Right? So the first thing we've learned from Bradley Pacquiao is that Bradley can go the distance with Manny Pacquiao. Right? Let me also point out too that he went the distance against Manny Pacquiao with two significant leg injuries. Try doing sports on a sprained ankle. If you look at the film, you'll see Timothy Bradley step on the referee's foot. His leg's not the same after that. Let me also point out that not only does Bradley go the distance, he doesn't just survive. He has a strong finish, right? Just look at the judges' scorecard. Say what you want, but Timothy Bradley's strongest part of the fight is actually in the last few rounds of the first fight, right? Let's talk about other things we've learned. Manny Pacquiao can hurt Timothy Bradley. We know that from a very good source. Timothy Bradley, who has openly said that he was hurt in the 4th round of the fight, right? Bradley, though, goes further. He believes that Manny Pacquiao is actually declining as a fighter. He's not the same Manny Pacquiao because Bradley was surprised that Manny Pacquiao wasn't able to step on the gas to try to finish him. But make no mistake, Bradley himself admits that he was hurt in the 4th round. He felt Pacquiao's punches. He felt he was in danger of being stopped in the 4th round, right? Post-fight interviews of the fighters are one of the best ways to know exactly what happened in the fight. The third thing we know from the first fight, is that Bradley knows how to keep his right hand up to block Pacquiao's straight left. Let's talk about Pacquiao's straight left. It's a beautiful punch. I've talked about it before, but it's significant to note that the punch doesn't have much of a loop on it. So I believe the mistake guys have made is they put a hand up expecting to block the punch coming in this way, when the punch is actually more straight. So you'll see guys with a hand up on film literally still get hit in the face with it. Timothy Bradley, in the middle of this fight, figured out the angles. And he figured out how to literally, while shooting a jab, stick his hand up and block the punch. Now, I know many people take the CompuBox numbers as gospel. Many people have written me, have left comments on videos. I encourage everyone to read those comments, talking about how Bradley hit Pacquiao's gloves. The implication is that Manny Pacquiao was landing flush all night on Timothy Bradley. We'll understand, if you believe that, that should be troubling to you. Because you'd have to ask yourself how Manny Pacquiao could be landing flush all night, but yet his opponent is still going late and is in fact winning most of the late rounds. Right? That would hint at ineffective punching power, if that's true. What I saw was something different, and I know the CompuBox numbers disagree with me. It is what it is. I'll trust my two eyes. But what I saw was Timothy Bradley parrying and blocking most of Manny Pacquiao's shots. That actually enabled Bradley to come forward late behind a jab, right? That's the next point I want to make. We learned from the first fight that Manny Pacquiao has problems with Timothy Bradley's jab, right? All you have to do is just look at the last 3 rounds of the fight. Timothy Bradley figures out how to throw the jab. Manny Pacquiao, right, who's really too reliant on that straight left, doesn't really have a lot of other things going on. Manny Pacquiao gets hit by that jab a lot. At a minimum, he gets diffused by the jab. Now, what I want people to do is I want people to look back on the very first Eric Morales, Manny Pacquiao fight. And you'll see that Pacquiao getting bothered by a jab is not new. You'll also see that the Manny Pacquiao who fought Eric Morales in that first fight was faster and had more stamina than the Manny Pacquiao who recently lost to Timothy Bradley, right? Which brings me to my next point. What we've also learned in the first fight is that Manny Pacquiao now has stamina problems, right? Something's changed with Pacquiao. There's several rounds in this fight where Manny Pacquiao takes off part of the round. He literally coasts for about 2 minutes. Then he comes on at the end of the round. Now that's a trick straight out of the Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard playbook, but it's surprising coming from Manny Pacquiao, because Manny Pacquiao until now has been known for stamina, has been known for keeping the bullets, flying 3 minutes of a round. Look at Pacquiao against Antonio Margarito, right? That Pacquiao, the one who fought Margarito, doesn't seem to be the Pacquiao who fought Shane Mosley, or the Pacquiao who fought Marquez, or the Pacquiao who fought Timothy Bradley. In a nutshell, Manny Pacquiao is starting to look like he's 33 years old. Let's continue. Another thing we've learned, this is a big one, but we kind of knew this going in, is that Timothy Bradley adapts, right? Before the fight, we heard that Bradley likes to come in with his head, right? You watch the early part of the fight, you see Bradley lose his legs at the end of the second round. You see Bradley getting battered in the fourth, fifth rounds, right? Well, the fourth round. The fifth round's questionable, but the fourth round. But then something changes. Mid-fight, Timothy Bradley suddenly establishes a jab. Mid-fight, Timothy Bradley figures out the angles. All three judges had Bradley winning the 7th round. By the 11th round, it's clear that Bradley has discovered a formula. He actually has a game plan. He's fighting in a way that he didn't fight a few rounds earlier. Now, by contrast, Manny Pacquiao is a pattern fighter, right? He's always trying to land that great straight left, right? The Manny Pacquiao who's in the early part of this fight is the Manny Pacquiao who's in the later part of this fight, right? He's the fastball pitcher with the 100-mile-an-hour fastball, right? That is relying on that fastball for all 9 innings. He's not going to fall back on a curve, on a slider, on a changeup. That's not him, right? So Timothy Bradley is literally a different fighter than he was at the beginning of the round. He's learned some things. By contrast, Manny Pacquiao used the same approach late that he used early. Finally, what did we learn? We learned that even against Manny Pacquiao, a guy with blinding foot speed, a guy with blinding hand speed, a guy with a great straight left, a southpaw, we learned that Timothy Bradley was able to keep it in the middle of the ring, right? He, wasn't up on the ropes like Oscar De La Hoya was against Manny Pacquiao. Now you add it all up, and yes, I know, I'm going to again be out on a limb here online, but you add it all up, and I think this fight has controversy written all over it, because I believe Timothy Bradley does even better in the rematch than he did in the first fight. Now, given the outcry over the scoring, I'm not sure how the judges are going to score this fight. What I know, though, is Bradley is going to do better. And the prediction I'm making in this fight is the same prediction I'm making in the first fight. I like Timothy Bradley to win this fight. Straddled against Manny Pacquiao by knockout. I know many are going to say, didn't Pacquiao come back and beat Erik Morales twice after losing that first fight? All I can say is, Erik Morales, by his own admission, was weight drained in the subsequent 2 fights. Morales was so weight drained, he literally is on the canvas in the 3rd fight. He looks at somebody, he nods his head, he decides to stay down. Right? This fight's different. This fight is a fight where Bradley wasn't even Bradley at the start of the first fight, or at least after he hurts both of his legs. Right? You give Bradley back his legs, he might even do some things that he didn't do in the first fight, like back Manny Pacquiao up on the ropes. So I like the upset. I haven't seen the posted odds yet, but I'm assuming since 90% of the world seems to believe the public narrative that Manny Pacquiao won the first fight, I'm expecting Timothy Bradley to again be a big underdog, and I'm expecting him to again defy the odds, be better than expected I'm expecting the scoring to be controversial, but I'm expecting the action in the ring to be even better for Bradley. I like Bradley to win, straddled against favorite Manny Pacquiao by KO. Pacquiao has a puncher's chance. Why am I not taking, Bradley by decision and Pacquiao by KO? Simply because I believe that if Bradley has cracked the code, fully cracked Manny Pacquiao's code, and Pacquiao to me is a pattern fighter, then Bradley, who the press has misconstrued as a guy without a punch, might have a chance at a late stoppage. Understand, this guy, fight before this one, stopped Joel Casamayor, right? If Bradley, a counterpuncher, right? Bradley's really a switch. He can be lead or counter. Against Pacquiao, he's counter, right? Apart from the jab. If Bradley has figured out the punch pattern to the extent that I believe he has, he does have a remote chance of getting a late stoppage against Manny Pacquiao. Let me know what you think. I know you will. The way to watch my videos is really to read the comments people leave, right? Soak those in. Think about how you see the fight. Listen to my opinion. My opinion is just one of many, right? And then leave your opinion in the comment section, right? Let's talk about all of our opinions. Everyone's opinion is valid. There really are no experts when it comes to boxing, okay? But you know where I stand on this. Bradley is a live underdog. Quite frankly, as I've said here on film in more than one video, I scored the first fight for Bradley. I thought he won the fight. Let me just say, I know the WBO commissioned 5 judges to give their opinions on the fight. Of course, that's after they knew the result of the fight, after they knew the outcry. Let's go one step further. The first round that none of the judges gave to Timothy Bradley, what I want you to do is to contrast that with your own view of the first round and ask yourself whether there's something political going on, right? The two things you should trust are your own eyes. And I can tell you, when I saw this fight, and I've looked at it a few times, right? I don't see what Manny Pacquiao does in the first round to win it. And understand, one of the 5 judges the WBO had look at this fight, right, for a fresh set of eyes. Not a judge who saw the fight as it happened, but after the fact. Gave the first round to Pacquiao and still had Bradley winning 5 rounds, right? The first fight was a competitive fight. I think the second fight's going to be less so, because I'm expecting Bradley to do even better. I hope you leave your comments. I hope you visit us at gamblersadvisory.com. Thanks for stopping by.